Discover the incredible journey of a pregnant woman betrayed by family. Her heartwarming path to resilience. Sarah stood at the diner counter, the clinking of dishes and the sizzling of the grill forming a familiar backdrop to her life. But today felt different. She was pregnant. The news had burst into her world like a firecracker, bringing both light and panic. At 28, a single mother already juggling a demanding job, the thought of another child both thrilled and terrified her. She could almost feel the weight of her dreams pressing against her chest, dreams of a better life, of a cozy home filled with laughter, not whispers of doubt. As the regulars shuffled in, their faces lit up with smiles. Sarah forced herself to smile back, each one hiding her swirling emotions. How could she give her child what she never had? A family. A warm embrace that felt secure, not tainted by betrayal. "Just one more cup of coffee," a grizzled old man shouted from table 3, pulling her from her spiraling thoughts. She poured his coffee, her hands steady despite the storm inside her. Everything changed when she heard the whispers. Rumors lingered like dark clouds. Her family believed she wanted to give her baby up for adoption, a decision they claimed she would regret. The accusations stung, sharp like a knife. Sarah felt the betrayal cut deep. How could they think that of her? The clock ticked away the hours, and with each chime, she felt a little more isolated, yet a spark of rebellion ignited within her. Could she fight this? Fortunately, she was not alone. 2 booths down, a group of single mothers gathered, a sisterhood forged in shared struggles. They had faced judgment, and just like her, they had survived. One of them, Lisa, a fiery spirit with a heart full of love, caught her eye. "You got this, Sarah," she said, offering a reassuring smile. It was like a warm embrace on a cold day, spurring Sarah to confront her family's voices. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Then, into her life came a shadow from the past, her father. His arrival stirred up the remnants of old wounds. A decorated war veteran, he carried his own burdens, but his presence made her heart race with bitterness and confusion. Would he understand the sacrifices she'd make for her child? Memories of long ago fights surged, leaving her breathless. Would he see the strength in her when the world painted her as weak? As the diner buzzed around her, laughter and camaraderie wrapped the air like a warm quilt. Sarah's heart was heavy. The community that once felt like home now felt stifling, judgment looming over her. She stood torn between her longing for family and the betrayal that rocked her world, her father watching from the sidelines, adding salt to her wounds. Would she find the courage to redefine her family? To create a new kind of love that included friends who stood by her? Just as hope tiptoed into her heart, looming shadows whispered of despair. The question now lingered like a tightness in her chest. Could redemption truly emerge from those who had shattered her trust? The storm was far from over, and within, Sarah felt her resolve begin to waver, uncertain of what her heart might reveal next. As the diner buzzed with life, Sarah felt suspended in a moment that stretched like taffy, her heart pounding against the wall of her chest. The aroma of pancakes and bacon faded, replaced by the sharp scent of betrayal that lingered in her mind. Her father sat at the corner booth, a looming presence that twisted her insides. She glanced at him, but his gaze was focused on the menu, oblivious to the storm he had stirred in her heart. "Is everything okay?" Lisa's voice broke through, her concern tender and palpable. "Yeah," Sarah replied, but even to her own ears, it sounded hollow. The fight within her fizzled, and now doubt brewed like a storm on the horizon. She leaned on the counter, willing her thoughts to settle. She thought of her baby. The little life growing inside her was a beacon of hope. Did she want to raise this child in the shadow of her past, or step boldly into the new? A moment later, With the clanging of dishes and clattering of chairs all around them, Sarah felt a surge of courage. She grabbed a rag and wiped down the counter, her movements sharp, rhythmical. Each stroke was a small act of rebellion, a declaration that she would no longer be defined by her family's assumptions. Her heart beat a little faster, pride filling her as she glanced at the door leading to the outside world, a world filled with possibilities. Then came a whistle, short and sharp, slicing through her thoughts. It was Rebecca, another single mom from the group, waving her over. "Hey, Sarah. You want to join us?" The invitation brought a flicker of warmth to Sarah's heart. She considered it, the thought of laughter and camaraderie against the backdrop of her father's brooding presence. "Sure," she called back, allowing a small smile to break through. As she moved away from the counter, the air shifted. Laughter drifted toward her, pulling her in. Sarah settled into the booth with her friends, the warmth of their support wrapping around her like a safety blanket. They shared stories, exchanged tips on parenting, and celebrated each other's victories. For the first time that day, her worries seemed to melt away, replaced by the camaraderie that filled the space between them, but her father's shadow loomed still. She caught him from the corner of her eye, looking over at her, his expression unreadable. The old wounds throbbed, memories of past verbal battles rising to the surface. As Sarah shared a funny anecdote about her toddler's latest mischief, her father stood abruptly, the sound of his chair scraping across the wooden floor echoing like thunder. "Sarah, can I talk to you?" The amused chatter around her dulled instantly. All eyes fell on her, and she felt exposed, like a deer in headlights. Her heart raced, unwillingly drawn back into the gravity of her past. Yeah, sure," she stammered, rising slowly, her feet heavy as she approached him. They stood beside the entrance, his presence both comforting and suffocating. "I know you're dealing with a lot right now, but I just wanted you to know." His voice trailed off, uncertainty flickering behind his once unyielding demeanor. "What? That you think I'm making a mistake?" The words flew out before she could catch them, sharp and infused with hurt. His jaw tightened, and for a moment, she saw the soldier he once was, a man of strength burdened by his own fears. "No, I want to understand." Sarah felt her chest tighten again, that clutch of old habits pulling her towards the familiar, the arguing, the pain. Was this an opportunity for something different? "I just want you to listen," she replied softly, her voice wavering. Could she allow herself to trust, even just a little? The tension between them crackled with potential a chance for healing. As she took a breath, ready to share her truth, she realized she was standing on the bridge between her past and a hopeful future. But was she ready to jump? The decision loomed heavy in her heart, whispers of doubt lurking in the back of her mind. How could she confront the man who hurt her while also preparing to nurture a fragile new life? Sarah took a breath, steeling herself against the memories that threatened to drown her. She looked up at her father, his brow furrowed, but his eyes reflecting a glimmer of hope. Was it really possible for him to change? "Why didn't you ever believe in me?" she started, her voice shaking slightly. It felt good to finally say it out loud. His expression softened, but she pressed on, bolstered by the courage of her friend's laughter echoing in her mind. "I spent so many years feeling like I didn't matter to you." He took a step closer, the distance between them shrinking. "I was trying to protect you. I thought I was doing the right thing," but he paused, a heavy sigh escaping his lips. "I see now how it hurt you. I can't change the past, but I'm here now. I want to try and make things better." Her heart ached with longing. She had craved this conversation for so long, yet uncertainty still clung to her like a barnacle. "You think it's that easy? Just to say you want to understand?" "I know it's not easy. But starting today, I want to be a part of your life, and the baby's." He reached out, his hand hovering near her arm. For a brief moment, she considered letting him in. But then the image of her mother flooded her mind, the bitter words, "He'll never change," echoing like a warning bell. Her pulse quickened. "What if I say yes? What if you hurt me again?" "I can't promise I won't mess up, Sarah. But I promise to try." His voice was thick with emotion, and her gut twisted with the weight of his sincerity. Trying isn't good enough, she snapped, but the anger was weak. The truth was, she needed him to understand just how deep the cuts of betrayal went. You can't just show up when it's convenient for you. I understand, he said, his voice raw, eyes sincere. I want to be there for both of you. I didn't think this through before, but I'm ready to change. For a moment, silence enveloped them, thick and tangible, swirling with fear and hope. Her mind raced as she debated whether to believe him. Diving into the unknown felt risky. The thought of potential disappointment sent icy dread skimming down her spine. Then Sarah's phone buzzed in her pocket, shattering the spell. It was a message from Lisa asking if she was okay. Somehow, that little jolt returned her sense of clarity. Sarah? Please, her father's voice grounded her again. Don't shut me out. Just, let me be a part of your future. Let me support you. His words hung in the air like a fragile promise. There was a flicker of excitement in the pit of her stomach mingling with apprehension. Could she let herself be vulnerable? As she turned to reply, she caught a glimpse of her friends entering the diner, their laughter loud and genuine. A glimmer of warmth spread through her, but it quickly faded as her father's gaze fell on them. Do they know about your situation? He asked quietly, a hint of worry in his tone. No, not yet. She hesitated, unsure of how to articulate the tangled web of her emotions. Okay, I understand. But you should tell them when you're ready. His reassurance lingered, filling her with a bittersweet sense of possibility. Before she could respond, she noticed Rebecca waving and approaching them, the others trailing behind. The air turned electric. This was not just about her and her father anymore, it was becoming something bigger. As they reached her, she could feel her friend's warmth enveloping her like a protective bubble. Every ounce of courage she'd felt earlier surged back within her. Hey, there you are. Rebecca chirped, oblivious to the charged moment. We were just talking about you. Sarah's lips curved into an uncertain smile, but the weight of choice still hung in the air. It wasn't just about the words spoken, it was about what would come next. As her father stood silently by her side, she felt the heaviness of the unknown. Could this be the beginning of a new chapter, or another false start? The question buzzed in her mind like a persistent cell phone. What was she truly ready to confront in herself and the life growing within her? With each passing second, Sarah realized that her journey was just beginning, filled with hope and uncertainty intertwined. As she prepared to stand up, a part of her desperately sought the answer to one pressing question: could her past and future finally coexist? The moment Rebecca and the others reached her table, Sarah felt a wave of comfort wash over her. Their vibrant energy was infectious, wrapping her in a warmth she hadn't realized she had been craving. But she couldn't shake the weight of the conversation she just had with her father. His presence, though now silent, loomed over her like an unfinished story, a silent promise lingering in the air. Sarah, are you okay? You look a little out of it, Jenny said, tilting her head with concern. Yeah, just a lot on my mind, Sarah replied, forcing a smile. She knew she needed to tell them soon about her situation, but doing so felt daunting. Her father's expectations sat heavy in her chest. Don't worry, we're here for you, Lisa reassured, sitting down and nudging a plate of fries towards Sarah. We brought your favorite. Sarah chuckled weakly, grateful for the effort. Each fry was a little piece of home, reminding her of simpler times when life felt lighter. Still, laughter didn't quite reach her eyes. Thanks, guys, she said, trying to shake off the heaviness. Yet, her gaze flickered back to her father, who was now standing awkwardly near their table, just outside the protective circle of her friends. The mix of emotions churned within her: dread, anticipation, a flicker of hope. Your dad looks worried, Rebecca said, following her gaze. Is everything all right? That question hung there, offering both an opening and a trap. He wants to be part of my life again, she admitted quietly, feeling exposed. Silence fell over the table. The weight of her admission echoed like a bell tolling high in the air. Everyone exchanged glances, unsure how to respond. Sarah, Lisa finally spoke, leaning forward. That's a big step. How do you feel about it? I want to believe he can change, but Sarah faltered, her voice thinning. What if it's just another empty promise? What if he hurts me again? It's okay to be scared, Jenny said gently. You deserve to protect yourself. But you also deserve to be happy. Maybe this is a chance. Or maybe it's just a trap, Sarah countered, the shadow of doubt creeping back in. I feel like I'm stuck between wanting to let him in and wanting to cut him out completely. Rebecca placed a hand on Sarah's arm. Only you can decide that, but remember, it's okay to take your time. You're not alone in this. Not anymore. Sarah looked around the table at her friends' faces. They shone with unconditional support. She wished she could absorb their confidence, wished she could convert their belief into her own. Maybe I need to talk to him again. Set some boundaries, she suggested, propelled by a rush of newfound determination. Let him know it's not just about him showing up, it's about showing up in the right way. Exactly, Lisa chimed in, enthusiasm edging her voice. You're the one in control of this conversation. And we'll be here, cheering you on. The vibrancy of their spirit uplifted Sarah. She could almost feel the pieces of herself coming together again, shards of trust and hope being glued, if only tentatively, into a fragile whole. But a spark of doubt still flickered inside her. What if she was reaching too far for closure and forgiveness? Just then, Sarah's phone buzzed again. A text from her father, simply saying, "Can we talk?" It felt like a whistle cutting through the din of cheerful chatter, drawing her back immediately into that moment with him. Her heart raced. The choice loomed larger than ever. It wasn't just about venturing into an uncertain future with her father. It was also about embracing the life growing within her, one that deserved a loving and supportive family. The weight of the moment descended again as her friends continued laughing, oblivious to her internal struggle. Could she bridge the distance between her past pain and possible future healing? With each breath, Sarah felt the pulse of that question growing stronger within her. As she glanced at the diner's door, where her father stood waiting, her next choice shimmered ahead. Would it become a moment of transformation, or another visit from shadows of the past? Sarah stole a glance at her friends, their laughter a vibrant backdrop to the chaotic symphony in her chest. Each heartbeat felt like a countdown, a reminder that time was pressing in on her. That simple text from her father hung in the air, laden with unspoken promises and fraught history. "Hey, I'll be right back," she said, the words slipping out before she could process them fully. "Sarah, wait," Jenny began, but Sarah was already on her feet, heading toward the door. She could sense her friend's eyes boring into her back, full of unanswered questions and concern. The air outside was crisp, a sudden contrast to the warmth of the diner. Sarah stepped out into the inviting glow of the streetlights. Her father was still there, his features caught in the shadows, wearing an expression she couldn't quite decipher, hope mingled with regret, perhaps. "Dad," she called softly, her voice trembling. He turned, eyes widening for a brief second, as if surprised she had approached. "Hey, Sarah." His voice was hesitant, laced with an emotion she couldn't place. Was it guilt? Longing? So you wanted to talk? "Yeah, I did." He scratched the back of his neck, fumbling for words as Sarah readied herself for the barrage of emotions that would follow. A million thoughts raced through her mind, the weight of the past clinging to her like remnants of fog. She noticed his hands. They were nervous, ringing together without rhythm, and her heart sank a little. "I've been thinking about what you said earlier," he started, almost stumbling over the words. "About wanting to be a part of your life again. I know I messed everything up. I didn't realize how much I had hurt you until I stepped back and until you saw us from a distance," she interrupted, her voice sharper than intended. She didn't want to let her hurt bubble over, but it was hard to hold it in. A storm raged inside her, and she could feel the edges of her control threatening to unravel. I know, he said quickly, raising his hands in a placating gesture. "But I want to make it right, Sarah. I want to be there for you now. For your baby. I want to be a grandfather." The mention of her child sent a shiver through her. It was a moment frozen in time, a stark reminder of just how much her life was changing. She swallowed hard, her thoughts clashing wildly against each other. "Being a grandfather means more than just showing up, Dad." Her voice faltered, trembling with unresolved feelings. "It means being someone I can trust. It means being there through the hard times, not just the good ones. I understand, he said, stepping closer. I'm ready to be that person. I've changed, and I'm working on becoming a better man. I promise I won't mess this up again. The sincerity in his voice stirred something deep within her, a yearning for connection and reconciliation. But the scars of their past threatened to keep her captive. So, what does this look like? She asked, testing the waters even as her heart wavered between hope and fear. How do I know this time is different? His eyes softened, glimmering with the vulnerability she'd rarely seen before. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Let me prove it to you. I can attend appointments, help you prepare for the baby. I will even take things slow. As she processed his offer, the gravity of her situation began to settle in. Could she really open herself up to the possibility of healing? Trusting him again felt like standing on a tightrope, suspended high above her past, with no safety net beneath. I need time, she finally said, letting the truth settle between them like a fragile bridge. And I need to know you'll respect my boundaries. Of course I will. Just tell me what you need, he replied earnestly, nodding vigorously. A flicker of hope ignited within her, bright against the backdrop of doubt. Perhaps this moment could lead to something beautiful, something transformative. But as she took a breath to respond, a rush of heaviness began to weigh on her heart. Just behind her father, she noticed a figure lounging against a street lamp, both familiar and unsettling. Claire, the last person she expected to see. Sarah's pulse quickened. What was Claire doing here? And what did she want? Sarah? Her father's voice pulled her back. Could this day get any more complicated? She stammered, torn between the conversation she desperately needed and this unwanted intrusion. The questions tightened their noose around her heart once again. Was it too much to hope for a new beginning? Could she really trust someone again, especially with Claire lingering in the shadows, the potential for more heartache looming? A new beginning. Sarah's heart raced as she fixed her gaze on Claire, who was leaning casually against the lamppost. Her presence felt like a storm cloud blocking out the fragile sunlight of hope that was trying to break through. What did she want? Sarah couldn't shake the unease creeping up her spine. Sarah, you good? Her father's voice pulled her away from her spiraling thoughts. He looked from her to Claire, a frown deepening on his brow as he noted the tension hanging in the air. What are you doing here, Claire? Sarah managed to ask, forcing the words out through a throat tight with anxiety. Claire straightened, a tinge of surprise flickering in her eyes before her lips curled into a hesitant smile. I was just passing by and thought I'd say hi. Didn't expect to find you out here having such a heart-to-heart. She emphasized the last words, and it grated on Sarah's nerves. Yeah, well, it's a lot to unpack, Sarah replied, a protective edge to her voice, her eyes darting between Claire and her father. Maybe I should go, her father said, attempting to step back into the shadows, sensing the charged atmosphere between the three of them. No, Sarah said quickly. Stay. We're in the middle of something. She felt a rush of conflicting emotions, wanting her father there, needing him to fight for her trust, but still raw from Claire's unexpected presence. Claire took a step closer, her expression shifting from uncertainty to a more determined facade. I just thought you'd want to know what? Sarah snapped, frustration boiling over. What could you possibly say that would make this easier? The air between them crackled. Claire opened her mouth and paused, visibly reconsidering her words. I just came from the cafe down the street. I heard some things about your father's plans. I think you need to know how it all ties back to you. Cut the cryptic crap, Claire. Just tell me. Sarah's chest tightened. She felt trapped, like a bird caught in a net, flapping wildly but unable to escape. Her father's face paled. What is she talking about? Maybe it's better if you don't know, Claire shot back, crossing her arms tightly. But if you care about Sarah, you should know the truth. Something in the past, Claire. Sarah interjected, fear clawing at her. I have enough on my plate without diving into whatever drama you think is worth revisiting. But this involves the baby, Claire said sharply. And you deserve to hear what's been said, especially with him back in your life. Sarah's heart dropped as dread settled in the pit of her stomach. Was Claire really suggesting what she thought? No, not now. This isn't the time for more secrets. Her father took a step forward. What secrets? What are you talking about, Claire? A hint of desperation laced his voice. I want to hear what you have to say. We can deal with this together. Sarah felt her pulse hammering in her ears. With every moment, the walls she had started to build around her heart felt like they were crumbling. I can't do this right now. I just can't. But as she said those words, another part of her strained against the desire to listen, to understand. Would this unravel everything they were trying to fix? Sarah, Claire pressed, her voice softer now. You can't ignore the past. Not if you want to move forward. Was Claire right? Could she really move forward without acknowledging the pain that lurked beneath the surface? You need to decide what's more important, Claire continued, her eyes locking onto Sarah's. Your father's promises, or the truth about what happened before. Sarah hesitated, her heart and mind clashing again. Would exposing old wounds lead her to healing? Or would it only deepen the scars? The weight of the night hung heavy, silence enveloping them like a blanket. In that moment, Sarah realized she would need to find her voice if she was ever going to navigate the tangled web of her life. What do you know, Claire? She breathed, her voice a whisper barely audible. The tension crescendoed, the air thick with apprehension. What had she just opened up? And could the truth really set her free, or would it pull her deeper into a darkness she couldn't escape? Sarah's breath hitched as Claire took a deep breath, the kind that carried the promise of a revelation. For a moment, it felt like time stood still. Her heart thudded against her ribs, and every thought in her mind swirled into a single question. What could Claire possibly know that made this moment feel so monumental? Okay, Claire started slowly, looking directly into Sarah's eyes as if trying to read her soul. You deserve to hear this, and it's not just about the past, it's about your future too. Claire's voice wavered, uncertainty showing through her bravado. I've heard whispers about your father's plans, and what's been said isn't good. People in that cafe were talking about you. Me? Sarah echoed, incredulous. Why would they be talking about me? Because they think you're a pawn in whatever game your father is playing. It's not just about being back in your life. It's about control, Sarah. You need to be careful. Control? The word hung in the air, a bitter taste settling on Sarah's tongue. It felt like a betrayal. Her father had fought against the very thing that was causing her distress, just to be with her, hadn't he? Sarah, her father interjected, a rising panic breaking through the veneer of calm he'd been trying to maintain. What does she mean? You know I would never wound you? Sarah's voice cracked, the hurt spilling out. How can I trust anything anymore? You come back into my life claiming to want to protect me, but maybe you're just trying to keep me from the truth. Listen, if you care about me at all, you'll try to understand that I'm just trying to look out for you, Claire interjected, her gaze flickering between Sarah and her father. When I heard those rumors, I couldn't just let it go. The baby makes it all the more relevant. This is bigger than any of us. The word baby hung there like a lifeline, pulling Sarah back into the reality of her situation. Everything had changed the moment she found out. She needed to think of more than just herself. She had a life growing inside of her now. Still, the words of the cafe patrons echoed in her mind. Stop, all of you! Sarah shouted, her anguish boiling over. You say you care, but what's the truth? I can't navigate this without knowing what lies beneath the surface. Are you all hiding something? Do I have to fight for my own happiness? It shouldn't be this complicated. Silence draped over them as Sarah's heart thundered in her chest. Each second felt like an eternity, the weight of uncertainty pressing down. She was desperate for clarity in this storm of unrest and conflicting emotions. What are you so scared of? Claire probed, her voice a gentle nudge. Scared of the truth? Or scared of losing what little safety you have? The question clung to Sarah like a chill, rattling her. Was she afraid? Was it all just a mask for deeper wounds? The walls she'd built to shield her heart suddenly felt flimsy in the light of Claire's assertion. Before she could answer, cloudy doubts mingled with flashes of hope. If opening up to the past could pave a path to healing, she had to face it head-on. The thought surged through her, could she really confront the daunting shadows of her history? Fine, Sarah declared, steeling herself. Tell me everything. I want the truth, Claire. No more half measures. Claire nodded, a glimmer of respect in her gaze. All right, but you need to brace yourself. This isn't just about your father. It involves decisions that could change everything for you, and the air crackled once again as Sarah prepared for what would come next. Would the truth shatter her hopes or fortify her journey forward? As Claire began to speak, Sarah's breath quickened. Every word could either tear them apart or mend the threads of trust that had frayed for too long. Could she handle what lay ahead? The answer felt just out of reach, lingering like the clouds threatening a storm. Sarah's heart raced as Claire took a deep breath, the tension palpable in the air. It felt as if they stood on the precipice of something monumental, as if the ground beneath them could shift at any moment. Would the truth wash away the uncertainty, or would it drown her in despair? Claire leaned in closer, her voice barely above a whisper. There are plans your father has, plans that aren't just about reconnecting with you. They involve powerful people, decisions that could impact everything in ways you can't even begin to imagine. Powerful people? Sarah's voice trembled, her insides twisting into knots. What does that mean? Are they dangerous? Yes, but it's more complicated than that. He's trying to protect you from them, from their reach. But what if that protection comes at a cost? Sarah felt her pulse quicken as the weight of Claire's words settled heavily on her shoulders. What kind of cost? She thought about how much she longed for her father's return, how she believed it signaled a new beginning. Now, that dream was turning into a shadow she couldn't escape from. I don't understand, Sarah stammered, her eyes darting between Claire and her father, seeking reassurance that would never come. Why would he involve me in something like this? I'm just a pawn in someone else's game? Claire shook her head, her expression softening. No, you're more than that. You are the center of this battle, whether you realize it or not. Your father believes that by bringing you closer, he can shield you from what's happening on the outside. The revelation sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. Could he really be trying to protect her, or was this just another layer of manipulation? She glanced at her father, searching his face for answers, but all she saw was confusion and concern. If this is about my safety, why didn't he just tell me? She demanded, speaking directly to him now, her voice rising. Why hide it? Why keep me in the dark? Because I didn't want you to worry, Sarah, her father pleaded, desperation creeping into his tone. This world isn't safe, and I thought keeping you away from it would protect you. I thought I could manage it. Manage it? Sarah felt the fire burning in her chest. You've kept me in a cage, not protected me. I deserve to know what's happening in my life. It was like a dam had broken inside her. All the frustration and anger rolled out in waves. The need for clarity was overwhelming, but all she felt was chaos. She had never asked for any of this. She only wanted a father who loved her enough to tell her the truth. Please. Claire's voice cut through the tension with a calm urgency. This is bigger than both of you. You need to listen. The moment you decided to have a baby, you became a target. They will come for you, for your child. You have to be ready. Sarah felt the ground shift under her. The cliff was not just threatening to crumble, it was already starting to erode. This was not just about family ties, it was about her very future. The weight of motherhood pressed down on her, amplifying her need to protect what was growing inside her. I need to know everything, she finally said, steadying her breath, determination freezing her fear into something resolute. I can't be a pawn anymore. I won't let anyone dictate my life, especially not my father. Claire's eyes sparkled with a mix of pride and concern. That's the spirit, but understanding this truth will come with pain. Are you ready for that? Sarah nodded slowly, emotions warring within her. This was the beginning of a journey she hadn't anticipated, one where sacrifices might be necessary, where trust would be tested, and where she would have to step into her own power. As uncertainties loomed above like dark clouds, Sarah braced herself for the storm ahead. Would she be able to unravel the web of deceit? Or would facing the truth shatter her world completely? The words lingered in the silence, heavy with unspoken promises. The moment of truth was within reach, but was she truly prepared to grasp it? Sarah felt her heart pound like a drum in her chest. The thought of confronting the truth filled her with dread. Yet, she couldn't ignore the growing need to unravel the knot of lies that seemed to entangle her life. Could she really be prepared for the implications of what she was about to learn? Let us start from the beginning, she said, her voice steadier now. What exactly have I walked into? Claire, with her eyes locked onto Sarah's, took a breath as if summoning strength. Your father has been involved with these people for years. He thought he was doing what was best for you both, but he didn't realize how deep the rabbit hole goes. Sarah's mind raced. Words like deep and dangerous tossed around her head, leaving her dizzy. What do you mean? What are we talking about? Who are these people? Your father was connected to, let us say, a certain kind of organization. They want what he has: information, resources, and now they want you too. Claire's voice carried gravity, making Sarah feel the weight of each syllable pressing down on her shoulders. Why me? Sarah whispered, the shock freezing her. I'm nobody. Just some girl trying to figure out her life. That's exactly why, Claire replied. You're caught in a game that doesn't care about innocence. Once your father reappeared, it attracted attention. They see you and your child as leverage. A swell of anger mixed with fear surged through her. She was not just Sarah anymore. She was a pawn in someone else's chess match, one that was far beyond her understanding. And my father thinks keeping me in the dark is protecting me? This is insane. Sarah, Claire's gaze softened. He thought he was giving you a chance at a normal life. But normal isn't possible now. You must realize that what you considered a reunion is only the beginning of a much darker chapter. They all knew the truth was unraveling quickly, and time was slipping away. So, what happens next? Sarah asked, desperation creeping into her voice. Do I just sit here and wait for them to come for me? No, Claire replied, her voice firm. You fight. I want to help you tackle this head-on. But we need to act fast. The longer you stay out of the loop, the more vulnerable you become. Sarah shifted her stance, contemplating her next move. The prospect of danger was real, but so was an emerging strength within her. If she remained passive, she would never have control over her life. Okay then. Let us fight. Claire's eyes widened in a mixture of surprise and admiration. Are you sure? It won't be easy. We will have to dig into your father's past, confront people who don't play by the rules, and expose truths that could hurt. That doesn't matter, Sarah replied, a fierce determination igniting within her. I can't let fear dictate my life anymore. I deserve to know, and my baby deserves more than to be a pawn. I'm ready to face whatever comes next. What is the first step? Claire smiled, an unexpected flash of relief washing over her. We start by gathering information. Your father has resources that might help, despite his decision to shield you. We just need to know where to look. As they began to discuss their plan, Sarah's mind buzzed. Each step ahead brought a mix of hope and dread. She was breaking free from the confines of ignorance, making room for something far more daunting: the pursuit of truth. But what she didn't expect was how quickly the dark reality would surface, threatening to shatter everything she held dear. As the night drew in around them, Sarah vowed to take matters into her own hands. The shadows felt closer, alive with the promise of conflict and revelation. She had chosen this path, and it was her journey to navigate. Bracing herself for the first push into the unknown, she felt that familiar flutter of fear and excitement intertwine. Was she truly ready? The darkness awaited, and with it, all the answers she had been seeking. With each passing moment, Sarah's heart raced. Would she find the strength to confront her father, the man who had protected her so fiercely yet kept so much hidden? Or would the truths she uncovered unravel her completely? Sarah stood at the edge of a precipice, her mind swirling with turmoil. The air felt thick with tension as Claire's words clung to her. You're a pawn in this game. Her heart raced, each thud resonating with a determination that had taken root deep within her. She watched her father's expression shift as he processed the revelations. Desire to protect, to bond, but shadowed by fear and uncertainty. Could he truly understand the depths of what she was wrestling with? Sarah, please, he said quietly, desperation pooling in his eyes. I'm trying to protect you. I didn't want you to be caught in this. By hiding the truth? She shot back, emotion cracking through her voice. You think lying to me will keep me safe? I deserve to know the reality of my life, especially now that I'm bringing a child into this world. The truth is complicated, he began, but the fire in her eyes silenced him. Complicated doesn't mean I should be kept in the dark. Her heart ached for the father she had once longed for, but she wouldn't let love blind her this time. It was a new era. The stakes had changed. Claire stepped forward. This isn't just a family matter anymore. Sarah, we need to act now. Find out who's after you and what your father is really involved in. It could determine your future and your child's. Sarah took a breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Then let us do it, she declared, steeling herself against the fear. Together. Her father glanced at Claire, suspicion gathering in his features. You think you can just dive deeper into this without understanding the danger? You don't know what's at stake. I'm willing to risk it, she replied firmly, her heart racing not just with fear but with determination. I can't raise a child blind to the world, not anymore. In that moment, Sarah realized something remarkable. Strength doesn't come from the absence of fear, but from addressing it head-on. Okay, her father said, his voice steadying with resolve. I'm here to help. If you want the truth, you deserve all of it, no secrets. The promise hung in the air. It was a tenuous lifeline of trust woven amidst their tangled past. But with trust came the power to forge a new beginning. As they started to piece together a plan, her friends joined them. Jenny, Lisa, and Rebecca stood by her side, their support a comforting surge of solidarity. They were a team now, united in more than just friendship. They were family, built on chosen bonds. Plans laid out before them felt daunting yet invigorating. They'd gather information, sift through the lies, and expose the truths that had kept them shackled for so long. Sarah's heart flickered with hope, an ember igniting a path toward resilience. Meanwhile, her father spoke of groups and individuals who had once seemed untouchable, those who played shadows in a dangerous game. I'll help you navigate through it all. I'll protect you this time, he vowed, the sincerity washing over her like a warm embrace. Promise me you'll tell the whole story. No more secrets, she pressed, afraid that even a sliver of hidden truth could lead to darkness. I promise, he nodded, determination filtering into his voice. It was the moment of transformation for them both. Together, they could confront the past, face the shadows looming over their lives, and take control of their destiny. Each step forward began to feel like a monumental leap, a collective rebirth emerging from the ashes of betrayal. As they gathered their strength for the journey ahead, determination swirled in the air like dust dancing in a sunbeam. Sarah had never felt more alive, more open to the possibilities. Her child deserved a legacy of love, truths, and unyielding strength, an unconditional heart beating boldly in a world fraught with challenges. With one final glance at her father, Sarah whispered, "Let us make this right." Together. And as they stepped back into the diner, hands intertwined, hearts glimmering with hope and courage, she knew they were ready to face whatever dark waters lay ahead. This was a new beginning, and it would be their story to tell. Don't miss out on the next chapter of this incredible journey. You need to subscribe now and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a single exclusive story. Leave a like now to pump up the algorithm, making sure everyone sees this powerful transformation. Comment below with your reactions. How do you feel about Sarah's journey? What tough choices did she face? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this inspiring tale of resilience and healing. Show your support. Only true fans understand the importance of backing the channel.